What is good, guys, man? Thank you for tuning back into the channel, man. If you're new, make sure you hit that sub button down below to be notified for every single video that I drop. As you can see by the title, it says, My Testimony. He said, hell is real. First of all, before I get into this video, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. The ones that are raising their children on their own. You know what I'm saying? The ones that, even though the relationship did not work out with your baby daddy or whatever the case may be, you allow him to be the father that he can be. You know what I'm saying? Happy Mother's Day. Without further ado, let's go and get into this video. Comment down below and tell me what y'all want to see next. Let's get into it.
All right. So I'm not really sure how to start this off, but I'm going to tell you my testimony. And I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but I will say thank you if you watched to the end. Thank you. So I guess I'm just going to start with my childhood. And you might be wondering, why how'd your childhood have anything to do with your testimony? Just wait, it all ties in, I promise you. So growing up, I never had a lot of money. I wouldn't say, you could say poor. Maybe poor sometimes would be an understatement at that. And I was fat, and I used to get made fun of a lot. And I didn't have very many friends. What friends I did have, I held close. And they were genuinely my friends, but for the most part, I got made fun of a lot for the way I looked, for being poor, all of that. So growing up, I started lifting weights. I started keeping up my appearance. We were still poor, but I thought that I could mask being poor with an appearance of muscle. So girls started taking more interest in me, and it wasn't really a big deal to me at the time because I was just trying to make it to be in the NFL just so I could get my family out of a bad situation. That's all my thinking. I was like, I got no time for nobody. I got to do this so I can get my family out of this bad situation because we're tired of living poor. We're tired of being poor. And so when that didn't happen, I started lifting weights. And I see my body develop, and I guess women see my body develop. And so they started taking more of an interest in me. And at the time, it was all new and foreign to me. So I was like, oh, wow, girls are actually looking at me. And so, but that old trauma that I've had of getting made fun of, or just nobody wants to be my friend. I can't. It's just that mind state made me hurt people. Not intentionally, but I wasn't a good person to women. Now, I'm not saying that I did anything physically to them, but it was more mental. I didn't call them names, but sometimes I would lead them on and say I wasn't leading you on, or I would always have a backup. So if this didn't work out, I had a backup. And I know that's not right. I know that's horrible, and I take full responsibility for that. But I always felt like it was just tugging in my heart. I need to do better. I need to do better. And my cousin Dylan, he brought me to church. He took me to High Ridge. And so I was going. You know, I was just going for the sake of going. I wasn't going to get any benefit. I was just going and still living a sinful life, still living to the desires of the world. And it was one day that I met this woman who's now my wife. She changed my perspective about women, and like I didn't have a backup plan with her. She was the only one. And she made me feel like all these new feelings and emotions and just everything. And it was wonderful. And I ended up marrying her. And then, you know, things started to take a turn in our marriage because of some stuff that happened before our marriage. Like having a child out of wedlock. which was completely my responsibility. I'm the man, I'm supposed to lead. Yes, it takes two, but the man is supposed to lead the household. The man is supposed to do this. The man is supposed to do that. So it all fell back on me. And, it just, all of these emotions that I was projecting onto my wife, and I didn't even know I was projecting them onto her. And that was pushing her away. So I was pushing the person I love away because of all these unchecked emotions. All of these emotions that led back to, I kept feeling like someone was telling me that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And at the time, I didn't know that was God's voice. I was running from it. I did not want to accept that God was real because of the simple fact that my dad passed from lung cancer. Now, my dad wasn't the best person, but I still loved my dad. And I used to pray. I used to pray. I used to pray that God could just save him. But God didn't save him. And I was angry at God for a while. And it's not that I didn't believe. I was just, okay, God, I'm just going to put you on pause for right now. Because you don't answer prayers like you say you do. So while I'm pushing my wife away, she goes on a mission. She's in the military. She goes on a border mission. And this is when things really start to come to a head, because all of my insecurities, I'm just pushing on her. I'm pushing on her while she's on the phone. I'm calling her, worrying about this, worrying about that. All of these things, it's like I'm suffocating her, and I'm just pushing her even further away. I'm not listening to what she wants. I'm listening and doing what I want instead of just listening to my wife. And so I decided I was going to fast and pray. And within that same week, God sent me a message. He said, last chance. And then a few days after that, I had this dream. I don't even really think it was a dream. I think it was so real. But I was in hell. The best way I know how to describe it, it's not what you hear people think. It's not fire. It's not this. I will tell you what it is. Listen. It's sadness. It's a sorrow that you would never ever want to feel. It feels like you are drowning with all your emotions. It feels like you're underwater. And right when you get out of breath and you try to come back up, that's the feeling you feel in hell. It's dark. All I remember is darkness. Every now and then I would get a glimpse of something brown, look like a wall, look like cement, could have been wood. I heard screaming. These screams were so unbearable. It was so unbearable. And it was just so awful. I heard this scratching. It just screams. And just the sadness and the grief. Listen, I was going to hell. I was not going to heaven. See, I knew God, but I didn't know God in my spirit. If someone would have asked me if I was going to heaven or hell if I died, I would have said heaven. But I wasn't going to heaven. Deep down in my heart, I was going to hell. And I felt like God showed me that to wake me up. And so, on the last day that I was fasting and praying, I said, God, I'm not going to stop running until you give me a sign. And so I'm running. And I start seeing these images like pop up in front of me. And kind of faint. I don't know how to describe these images, but it was like a person, but it wasn't a person. And they had a sword, and which was throwing me off, but they just kept coming and getting closer and then getting closer. And then I finally, when I crossed over to the street from a traffic light, it was right in front of my face. I stopped and I just broke down and cried. I know that was God right there. So I walked back home. I called my wife on the phone. And we talked. And as we talked, I prayed before we talked. And the Holy Spirit came over me. I don't know how I made these words come to my mouth as quick as they did. It was just like instinct. I wasn't really thinking of what to say. I was just speaking, and I had goosebumps all over my body, and I was really cold, and I was shaking. And as we got ready to end the conversation, those feelings started to fade, of the goosebumps, of the cold chills. It starts to fade. And I felt the presence of the Lord. And now, fast forward to now. I keep getting these words from God. Like, I didn't think I was ever going to share my testimony, mostly because I felt like people would think, oh no, he's just making that up. He didn't see hell, or he didn't see an angel from God. But I don't care if you believe this or not. I'm just doing what God tell me. I'm not gonna play with him no more. Listen, I'm not saying that you're not entitled to believe in what you believe in, or this or that. But there's some things happening in my life right now. Yes, some of them are bad, some of them are good. But I keep hearing these voices from God, and I keep hearing that last chance, last chance, last chance. So whatever God tell me to do, I don't play with him. I just do it now.
Y'all guys comment down below what you think, man. I think God does, allow us to go through some things so we can have our focus on him for sure. I done had a hell dream before, man, when I was younger, man. Woke up sweating. I'm talking about sweating like a dog. You know what I'm saying? But I think that God gives us warnings. He lets us feel like, yo, you really doing wrong right now. You need to straighten your life up because you headed this way, and I want you to go this way. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely believe it's testimony. I just pray, man, you know what I'm saying, that whoever that is watching this video that is going through something, that I had dreams like this, or whatever the case may be, you feel like you're falling down, that you really do know who God is, that he can save you, he can pick you up, you know what I'm saying, and you don't have to be perfect, but, hope that your walk will get good with God, man. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and happy Mother's Day to the mothers that allow their baby daddies to be in their child's life and not take them through hell. Happy Mother's Day to you. Love y'all, man. And in my videos, I'll say stay inspired, stay motivated, stick around until next video. I'm out here. Peace.